Nurse Georgie. You worked with us for 6 months. We went 0 to 20K in month one, and we scaled all the way to 50K by month six. And you had no prior experience, no certifications. You just said, I want to do this. We got to work, and you had one of the most legendary rises to fame in the whole program. So I'd love to talk to you today, just kind of about your story, some of the pain points that you hit along the way, the things you had to overcome, and how you're able to have such a meteoric rise to fame in your coaching business, coming from relatively no background in the fitness industry.
Yeah, love it. Thank you. Well, I had an amazing coach and an amazing program.
Thank you. So take us back to you starting out, right? You're kind of got this idea like, I just went through an amazing health transformation myself. I want to share this with other people, but I'm not working for a gym. I don't have any certifications or degrees in this, but I want to make this a reality, sharing this with others. What were you thinking? What was your mindset when you were kind of jumping into this?
Yeah, so I was an ex-athlete. I was a competitive soccer player, track player. I majored and did my bachelor's in health education. So health and fitness was always super important to me. After I got my master's in nursing, I was a nurse for about 5 years. And, all the nurses that experienced COVID know that COVID took a really big toll on our health, physically, mentally, emotionally. So after I had finished a travel assignment in Chicago working the pandemic, I had saved up a good chunk of money. But I came home from Chicago back to California in the worst health of my life. Like, I had no energy. I had less confidence than I used to have, and I had gained around like 30 pounds. And so I found a fitness influencer that lived locally to me who helped me get in shape. It was the first time that I had actually invested in a fitness and health coach. And during these 6 months, I posted my transformation journey online. And so during this time when I was posting online, a lot of nurses and healthcare workers, they were reaching out to me and they were just like, Georgie, like, what are you eating? What are you doing for your workouts? What supplements are you taking? And I was just sharing it. And but at the same time, I realized that my coach was telling me to do things that were really hard, specifically for like a nurse, to eat 6 times a day or to work out after my 12-hour shifts. And it was really hard. And so I was just like, there has to be a better way. So while I was in nursing, I was figuring out the better way. And if you follow me, you know that I have always been an entrepreneur as since before I was a nurse. And so I was just like, this is actually a good business plan. Like, I was really burnt out from nursing and I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like, I didn't know that I wanted to be an online fitness coach. But I was speaking to a lot of friends. I was kind of like putting it out there. I had met you at a barbecue and I was like, what do you think about my fitness plan or my business plan about, becoming like a health coach for nurses? And I remember we had a really good conversation and you were like, well, yeah, that's what I do. Like I help people that have no idea about starting coaching business going full time. Is that something you'd be interested in? I was just like, I would love to do this. I would love to share my story, continue to do what I'm doing, but I need to learn. I need you to teach me the business side. I need you to teach me the sales. I need you to, and you know how I am. So I was like, I need to know exactly what to do because I have to be successful. Like, I don't want to take people's money and not have it be successful. And yeah, I just remember that it was one of the hardest first steps that I had to do was like invest. I had invested in my health. So it wasn't my first time investing in a coaching program. But it was my first time investing in my business. And that was game over. Like, it was the best kind of taking that first leap forward. But yeah, it went from like me having my own transformation journey to me investing in the fitness coach, me seeing there was like a hole in the health coaching space for nurses and healthcare workers, and then me saying, I want to be a part of fixing that.
Yeah, I know a lot of coaches get hung up on that investment piece, especially when they don't have a lot of experience because they're worried that they're going to make this investment, and whether it's a lack of confidence in themselves or the system or the program, they're like, I don't know when I'm going to make this back. You were able to do 20K, which again, that's an outlier, but you were able to do $20,000 in month one. What do you attribute that success to? What allowed you to make back like the program times three in the first month?
So I will say that I Okay, so I will say that I studied everything in your courses. Like I watched every module. I was really good at marketing. So everything that you provided me, I'm like, how can I use my marketing and creative skills to make this more for healthcare workers and nurses? And I think I was a good student. Like I am very coachable. So like everything that you said, I just did. Like I made no excuses. During that time, I was very fortunate because as a travel nurse, I was able to take a couple months off. And so I know not a lot of 9 to 5ers don't get to do that, but it's like from that 5 to 9, you do have time to study. But nurses, and that's why I say nurses are the perfect entrepreneurs because we only work 3 12-hour shifts. So on your off days, those other 4 days a week, you can work on your business. So I think I just became a very coachable student during that time that I was prepping for the launch. And I had such a successful launch because I had 100 people on my waiting list the month that I went live. And out of those 100 people, I was able to close, let's just say 10 of them. And I was able to make, you know, 10K the first week, which was literally after I got 10K the first week. I remember calling you and be like, "Oh my gosh, Will, like this is amazing. This is the most I've ever made." And I've been doing nursing and even travel nursing for so long, and it was amazing. There's nothing like feeling that like 10K kind of come in. And when you're in fitness coaching, I don't know if you guys know this, but you get payments in 24 hours. So it's not like you have to wait, every Friday or every other Friday. Like you literally get paid within 24 hours. It's so awesome, and it is the most fulfilling job in the world for me. Like I took a year off and I am coaching again because I just miss it so much.
Yeah, I love that. What do you feel like was the biggest turning point for you in the online business? Like when did it really, I know you mentioned the 10K week, but when did it really click for you that like this was your passion, and what specifically was it that kind of lit that fire?
I would say working with nurses all the time in a remote way. So you as a fitness business coach, you get to choose who you want to work with, So and it's an application process, and it's like, are you a good fit for me and am I a good fit for you? So me being able to coach like 20 nurses or 30 nurses at a given time, like that was so I was just so blessed, and I love talking to nurses and I loved seeing their transformation. So it's like I was able to make an impact. I was able to make an income, and I was able to, get in shape along the way. Like I also, when you're a fitness coach, you have to embody wellness. So like you have to also do the things that you're telling your nurses and your clients to do. And it was amazing. It was very like I just felt very empowered and confident. I had the best energy. Like it was just so funny because as a nurse, I felt so drained and I had gained all this weight and I had lost that energy and confidence that I had. But the minute I went into my body, the minute I started focusing on my body and taking care of myself from the inside out, I became this better coach. And then I attracted better clients and I attracted more money. And it was just beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly, just taking even like minor changes in your health or minor changes in your career can lead to like going from a complete scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. And I think a lot of us get in our own ways with limiting beliefs, and we drag out that timeline so long when it's like, hey, you can flip the switch today and you can become a healthier, more energized person. You can flip the switch today and be so much more financially free. What along, because I know, by month 6, you hit the record. If Zach is watching this, you guys are in a legendary battle together for the top earning coach in the program, and you hit a $50,000 month in month 6. What systems that we developed inside the business do you feel like allowed you to not just have this be a fluke where it's like, oh, one month I did 20 and then it was dry from there? What allowed you to keep consistently scaling the business upward?
I would say it was you've told me this one time, but it's like cost is not an issue in the absence of value. And I was undervaluing myself so much in the beginning where like I wanted to charge less. And it's just over time working with you, we increased my prices. And it was the scariest thing to do. But you were there and you were doing your like math formulas and you're like, this is how it works. It's like everyone's buying this plan. So we need to bump up your prices. And it's just like, I don't know these things. And as a nurse, I don't come from sales. Like if you're a nurse or a healthcare worker, you don't come from sales, you know? And so you're like learning these things. And I think that was the game changer for me. There was times where I had bumped up my price, 20, 30%, and I'm learning as I go. And that's how I was able to scale, is with high ticket. And I will tell that person out there who is considering, if you want to make money, you also have to spend money. It's like, how do you expect people to pay you thousands of dollars if you're not willing to invest thousands of dollars in yourself? And that is a hard thing to do, especially if you come from like a stable salary job with benefits. That's the biggest thing that I hear, like, oh, but it's just so expensive. It's like, yeah, but how much money do you want to make? Like, you invest this to make 10x. And so I I I am that type of person where I believe in myself so much. Like, I have so much faith in me that as long as I can trust the program and as long as I have faith in the program and I can see that the results are going to get me there, I know someone who's gotten those results, like that's I'm going to do it and I'm going to make it happen no matter the cost. And that's what happened. And especially when it hurts a little bit, like I even tell my clients this, like it's supposed to hurt a little bit, right? Because things that we get free, we don't really see value and we don't finish, we don't accomplish. So when you're working hard for, you know, whatever it is that you want, like it's supposed to be a little bit painful. And I think that did help for me. And it was why I was able to attract so much money at the end of the day. And the second part I will say is being in the community and the group. You mentioned Zach, and that was like my my running mate. Like, it's not always about sharing how much money we made, but Zach and I were on phone calls all the time. Like, hey, like this worked for you. Like, do you mind calling? We would just go on walks during our breaks and we would just talk. And like, I would have never met him if I was in your program. And I know Zach's probably doing what, like 80K
80,000
months
a
now.
month now,
So
yeah.
now I need to catch up to him. But there was a point where I was the best in the group and I was one of the only females in the group and I was the only nurse at that time. So I was very proud. And I was just really competitive. That's my competitive nature, but also my willingness to like be my best self. And yeah, I also needed a lot of accountability that I had during that time, during my coaching program. That was a game changer.
Of that. I will say that you have inspired the next generation. We have had a couple more nurses, travel nurses, and regular nurses sign up specifically because they heard about you. And I just recently had a girl. She signed up again for another 6 months to continue scaling. She went and she just crossed like $13,000 per month. And I
Dang.
was like, oh my goodness, like this is so cool. And she's like, I got a lot more work to do to catch Georgie, but I'm on my
Oh.
way. And so you're inspiring the next generation.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, and that's a part of my grand mission too is I see so many burnt out nurses and first I want them to get healthy. I want them to embody health first, but then health coaching and online nurse health coaching is such an untapped field that I can't wait to see more nurses do. So, yeah, I absolutely love that. And nurses, we make pretty good salary, but there is nothing like getting to define what your salary is, right? Or like how much money you make. And you can make so much more in online health coaching, I will tell you, and not have to trade time for money.
Yeah. I mean, on that note, if you were talking to someone who is considering this and they're like, I feel like I'm called for more. I feel like there's this deeper purpose. I love what I do. Maybe I don't even want to leave what I do, but I want to be able to do something on top of that that provides a ton of value. And who knows, if it works out, maybe I'll do it full time. What would you tell them about full time that you think would be the most beneficial to them and why they should join a program like this?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if you are that person who has been looking for something else and you've been looking for something to do on the side or full time, fitness coaching is one of the best things I can say. Even as a nurse, you already have a lot of those skills as far as like listening and communicating and even creating plans. Like, I had to learn how to create fitness and nutrition plans. I'm not a nutritionist. So I worked with registered dietitians to help me make my programs. I worked with CPTs to help me make my programs. And once you work on those programs, you start to learn the things and you start to teach the things. And Um, I just feel like online health coaching is the perfect transition for nurses and healthcare workers. And I said this before, but if you have this burning desire to invest in yourself and do a program, like, I will tell you this is one of the best programs. Like, it has everything you need to get started, from the ground up. And depending on how fast you want to roll with it and how committed you are, I mean, you can be like me, where you have no idea how to be a health coach. And then you just study and you become the best student and you make 10K in 1 week, 20K, and over 6 months make $50,000. Like, it's the most incredible feeling, but it's work. It's not easy, right? It's learning a new trade. But again, nurses, you can do this on your off days and learn everything.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, if you want to learn more about our program, we'll have a link down below. You can check us out. You can book a call. Georgie, thank you so much for your time. You're a star student, and I can't wait to see how much further you go with everything you're building inside of online coaching and even outside now with some of the bigger stuff you're working on.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for being my first business coach, and to the moon we go.
Let's go.